Big Dash knows what?
Another day, another fantastic practice from Daniel Jones. Hello and welcome to Big Dash Knows. Big Dash knows what? New York Giants football. Let's go. Today's video is going to be a recap of today's practice, as well as a preview of the Carolina game on Friday, the preseason game, week 2. So again, just like I said, DJ had another strong day in practice. Very surgical. They worked into the red zone again. Today, he had touchdown passes to Hyatt, 2 of those to Hyatt. He had touchdown passes to Crowder, Hodgins, Sterling Shepard, also touchdown passes to Waller. Again, they're working the red zone still. It seems like the coaches are putting a lot of emphasis on the red zone. They did the same thing last year, and you saw how highly we were rated in the red zone last year as far as red zone scoring. A lot of the work this year has been the same. Now they do, work the intermediate game and stuff like that, but for the most part, we've seen a lot of red zone from the New York Giants as far as practices and things like that. And I'm here for it. I'm all here for it. But again, another good showing for Daniel Jones. Now, just some other notes in regards to practice. Evan Neal is still in concussion protocol. He was available for non-contact drills. But here's the thing. Okay, so we already know he hurt himself prior to going to Detroit. Concussion. How serious can this concussion be? It's already been a week. When he got the concussion, he was already, they had the helmets, they had the extra padding with the extra helmet. I just don't know what's going on here. And, I'm praying for the best, hope for the best. Him being in non-contact drills is a step up. But hopefully he can get cleared and we can get some good reps for him, in the game on Friday, because he needs to have live reps. We didn't see him practice against Detroit. I believe he got hurt on the second padded practice, and that, it's been a long time since this man has been on the field. And we do not need this guy to start off rusty. We have Dallas week 1, and we need to go in there at full strength, and we need Evan Neal to be able to get back and do his thing. And we need him to practice. We need these live practices. We need these live reps in these preseason games. And I would hate, to go into the year without this guy getting any snaps, in the preseason, because I don't expect a lot of the starters to play in the 3rd week of preseason. So this game coming up right now against the Carolina Panthers is the real dress rehearsal. And I'm hoping and praying that Evan Neal clears protocol and also is healthy enough and that everybody feels comfortable enough for him to play in those games, because he needs those reps. We need to figure out what's going on with this O-line. A lot of movement still within the guard spots and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and get this thing solidified, because the offensive line is very, very important to what we are trying to do, as a unit, as a team for the New York Giants. Now, let's talk a little bit about this wide receiver competition. So we know that Jalen Hyatt had a couple of touchdowns today. Crowder, Hodgins, Shep, these guys had a lot of run with the ones today. Cole Beasley was another one getting reps with the ones today. And when you start to look at how this wide receiver room is gonna boil down, man, it's still outside of maybe 4 spots. There's a lot of competition at the end of that roster. Or I should say at the end of that room, end of that depth chart, especially with Wan'Dale Robinson still not, off the PUP list. And we heard that Joe Shane said he might be off the PUP list soon. But again, we can't bank on that. No news is good news, you can say that. But Joe Shane said he expects him to be off, but we haven't seen him yet. But I also think, with him being on the PUP list, it allows you a little bit of movement within the wide receiver room. Now, we did have an injury to Colin Johnson. He did not practice today. He's one of those guys I felt that was a bubble guy. Bryce Ford Wheaton, another guy who has a lot of upside, but still hasn't been able to show it on the field yet. And again, we can't blame the wide receivers for what happened in last week's preseason game. The quarterback really didn't have time, to actually go through his progressions, take any kind of deep shots. We saw a breakdown of Jalen Hyatt and how he was able to look effective, but just couldn't get the targets. And, it's a shame. But again, the guys, the offensive line that we threw out there, especially when DeVito was out there playing on the second half, a lot of these guys, DeVito was pretty much running for his life. So you can't even get a full and fair assessment on the wide receiver room, because, they just didn't get a chance or get the chances to make plays in last week's preseason game. I'm hoping that, with Daniel Jones this week, because I do expect Daniel Jones to play, not necessarily a lot, but I'm hoping they get at least a full quarter of work going into the season. I would love to see a whole half, but it just depends on how sharp they look. If Daniel Jones can be the same Daniel Jones that we're hearing about in practice, then I'm pretty sure that we'll see the offense maybe the first quarter, or the starters in maybe the first quarter, that being Jones, and the ones as far as wide receiver goes, and Andrew Thomas and guys like that. But outside of that, I don't see a lot of the stars on the team playing that much. I do expect starters to play often, but Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, Andrew Thomas, I don't expect to see them too much into the second quarter, depending on how things look. But again, some other notes I read today was that Wink was trying out a 3-3-5 look, and that's 3 down linemen. You have 3 defenders on the second level, and then also 5 secondary or defensive backs. Now, the funny thing is, when they said that, they ran that 3-3-5 with only 1 linebacker on the field. Now, you can say that you can see that a couple of ways. They did say that Ashawn Robinson was starting in that lineup. So for me, I'm assuming that you have Dexter Lawrence, nose tackle, Leonard Williams at the DN, and then Ashawn Robinson at the tackle position. And instead of having 3 traditional linebackers in a 3-3, you're probably looking at Kayvon Thibodeau, maybe Azeez Ojulari. In my opinion, you're probably going to put Okereke with another safety, so you really have like 6 DBs in this look. But it just all depends. I haven't seen any clips or videos of that lineup of that scheme. But that's something that I hope they do, in the Carolina game, so I can see exactly how Wink wants to run that. But I don't expect it to look like a traditional 3-3-5. It's almost going to be like a 3-1-7, something like that. Yeah, 3-1-7 possibly. But we'll see what happens with that. Also today, Hawkins back at outside boundary corner. Adoree Jackson back in the slot. That's how they did it today. And it's just so many times that you can run out this formation without people really believing that this is something that you're going to try to do. Now, we did see the injury on Flott in the game. He wasn't able to finish the game last week in Detroit, but he was back at practice today. We saw that, he was able to participate. So that's good news. He's healthy. Another person that didn't participate in the game last week, but was able to practice it today, was Darian Beavers. And then we find out that he's pretty much on the pitch count. He's coming back from his injury, and they want to manage it correctly. But we all expect Darian Beavers to play a lot in this Carolina Panthers game, and I'm just hoping that for my sake and everybody else's sake, that this man gets a chance to get his reps and prove his point, and possibly be the starting linebacker next to Bobby Okereke. So let me just look at my notes today of some things that happened. Okay, so we know how good Daniel Jones's day was today. 5 touchdowns, a lot of those being in the red zone. But also Dane Belton. Dane Belton was able to get an interception. And in fact, he got a pick 6 today off of Daniel Jones. Javarius Owens also had an interception today. And here's the thing with Javarius Owens. And I said the same thing about Trey Hawkins a few weeks ago. Maybe even a month ago. It was looking like, with all of the additions, the free agency signings, that possibly all of the draft choices that we had this year might not make the team, might not make the 53. And then we fast forwarded to today, fast forwarded to the Detroit preseason game. Javarius Owens is making plays. Trey Hawkins is looking as good as advertised. Dane Belton is getting interceptions. Pinnock is getting interceptions. Then you saw today that Belton went and got an interception today. And I've been waiting all summer for Belton to show up. It's like he finally woke up. Jason Pinnock was running away with the safety spot, with the starting safety spot next to Xavier McKinney. And then it took some joint practices, and it took an actual game for Dane Belton, in my opinion, to wake up and start making plays. And you saw it today. He took what he did in the game in Detroit, brought it to practice today, was able to get a pick 6 off of Daniel Jones. So Belton, welcome to the party, Belton. Welcome to the party. I'm glad that you showed up. I'm glad that you could show up. And let's keep this competition alive and see what happens in Carolina. Other injury news. Gary Brightwell did not practice. Devery Hamilton still did not practice. Colin Johnson, I said it before, and then Tyree Phillips also did not practice. So we're losing some depth on that offensive line. So we're dependent on guys like Shane Lemieux and Corey Cunningham and things like that. And we saw what these guys look like. Jack Anderson's another one. We saw what these guys look like in the game against the third string guys in Detroit, and it was not anything to be excited about. And actually, I was very, very sad. I was very, very sad at what I saw. Some other news. Finally saw Marcus McKeithen. He ran with the threes today off the PUP list, able to get some reps. I know they're going to bring him back slowly, but I hope that he gets a chance to play in the game on Friday against the Carolina Panthers, because I'm high on Marcus McKeithen. I'm very, very high on Marcus McKeithen. The coaches were high on Marcus McKeithen last year before he got the knee injury, and hopefully he can come back and be another strong competitor and get his spot back, or earn a spot, I should say, on the roster, because again, I like Marcus McKeithen. I like him coming out of college. I think he's a sleeper. I think he's very versatile too, because we know when you're a backup offensive lineman, you have to show your versatility, and he's a guy that can play both guard spots and can possibly play a little right tackle as well. So I'm excited to see or hear about the news of him being back in practice. We have the Carolina Panthers on Friday. The Carolina Panthers had a horrible showing against the Jets last week in their first preseason game. Young, struggled. And I don't expect it to be a lot different this week against us. Again, they played a lot of their starters. Carolina did against the Jets. The Jets were able to beat them 27-0 with not playing a lot of their starters. And I understand that it's preseason and things like that, but I just think that on paper, the New York Giants should do whatever they need to do and be able to move the ball at will against the Carolina Panthers. Just going off by what we're hearing about the Giants in their in their training camp, in their preseason, and then the news I'm hearing about the Carolina Panthers in the early struggles that they're having as well. They did have a couple of signings. They did pick up DJ Chark. They did pick up Deion Jones, a linebacker that I wanted the Giants to pick up. But again, I hate that the dress rehearsal is against the Carolina Panthers because of the competition level. But at the end of the day, it's still live competition, live reps against the ones. And we absolutely need to see this first team offense and first team defense get loose, because we've been waiting all summer to see what these guys can actually do on the field. And that's a lot of stock, for a preseason game. But I'm just anticipating, something good to happen on Friday. And then hopefully we can take that momentum into the season, because that Jets game that we have on the third week, we're probably not going to see any starters at all. So this is the game that these guys need to get loose and make some plays and, and gain some confidence. And again, hopefully Evan Neal is able to play this week, because that's going to be a big factor in my opinion, because I need this offensive line ready to go week 1 against the Dallas Cowboys. So that's going to be my recap of today's practice and also my preview of the preseason game against the Carolina Panthers. I will do another video later on in the week about, players to watch and things that I'm going to be looking for, more in depth about that particular game. And I'm just going to leave it at that. So I want to thank everybody for vibing with me. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And from one Giants fan to another, this is Big Dash Knows, Big Blue Nation. Let's go.